Deal going. Little delayed this morning, about 5 minutes. Sorry about that. Today we're going to be welcome back to Love Talk with the Amish Matchmaker, and I'm Carlos, and we help Amish singles find a godly spouse, create an epic marriage, and develop legacies that are rooted in faith and freedom. So thanks for being here this morning. Our topic is going to be more specifically about some skills and strategies on how to handle and how to deal with staying calm when under pressure. I don't know if any of you men ever face pressures in life, but it's a thing, right? We all go through it. We all face it. What do we do with it? So today we're going to talk about how we can handle it. Pull up my notes. Good morning as you jump on. Hey, good morning, Amar. It looks like someone jumping on from YouTube. It's good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Appreciate the chats coming through and the welcome messages here. It does mean a lot to me when you guys communicate with me. I just want to make a promise to you. I'm going to do my best to bring the best every morning when we come together as men. Some topics that are very useful to you and topics that are beneficial. And so please let me know what that looks like. I try to look up and do some research on some of the most challenging things that men face and also things to help you in your relationship skills and finding a woman and keeping a woman, finding love, keeping love, and then making it epic is what we do as well. Morning, Jesse. Good to have you here, buddy. Thanks for being here, guys. So today we are going to be talking about oops here. All right, let's see. How to stay calm under pressure, right? Mastering your emotions as a man, what that looks like. Um, yeah, it's an interesting topic, right? About emotions and what they do to you, the what those emotions create, and it's interesting too because as men we begin to we face the frustrations of life and things that we face in life are pressure. We have to deal with. There's top three things that men deal with, and it affects relationship. When I did some research on what men are most concerned about, what most men are facing in relationships, uh, the top three things are as follow that we're going to talk about. The top three pressures, I should say, that men face in relationships, in marriage, that couples struggle with the most is communication, finances, and intimacy. So those are some of the topics we're going to be going over as well, going through and having conversations about. But today we want to talk about how to handle pressure in these three areas. Most men don't ruin their lives with one big decision. Usually life hits you hardcore, and we begin to snowball downhill with small emotional reactions. The little things that matter. It's the little things that matter for greatness and for developing yourself in a beneficial way. It's like getting up every morning at 5 a.m. and meeting me here. And we have conversations about things you're dealing with and things you're challenged by, which, by the way, that's one thing that I really appreciate too is what are some of the topics you're dealing with? What are some of the challenges you're dealing with? Or what are some of the things you want to learn when it comes to relationships? Where do you feel you fall short? We know that the three skills that need to be developed, the three main skills: confidence, communication, commitment. However, I want to hear from you. I want you to tell me what are some of the little things you have to deal with in life with the relationships, or maybe you don't have a relationship yet, but you desire it. Maybe even that. What is it that keeps you from it? What are you facing? Because it will always benefit you better if you're having interaction with me and asking questions, but also if you are um, giving me topics to bring to the table to talk about to help you through things you're going through. So, all right, a man who learns to stay calm under pressure becomes unstoppable. Let me say that again. A man who can have self control, self discipline, master his emotions, and stay calm under pressure is a man who becomes unstoppable in his home, in his business, in life, and will become a leader that others will want to follow, including your spouse, including your girlfriend, including people in general. So, in marriage and home and in life, it is a very important thing to be able to stay calm under pressure. So, and think about this. And I want you to ask any woman if it's sexy when a man is able to stay calm when he's faced big problems, big issues, when he faces pressure. If he has self control, self discipline, is that sexy? Is that powerful? We're going to hear from Chantel hopefully later today. I've been doing that, by the way. If you haven't gone back and watched some of my other videos, daily I've been trying to do this called 5 a.m. with you men, and then also coordinating with Chantel to create another time for us to talk and confirm some of the things we're talking about as men and how that looks from a woman's perspective and the benefits from a woman. So again, if you're single, you're in the right place. We're going to help you to find a godly spouse. If you're married, you're in the right place, men. So this is a great place to do conversations that hopefully will be beneficial for you. So, all right. The top three pressures that men face: you're not losing in these areas because you're weak. You're not losing because you're losing, or you're losing ground and you're not doing well in these areas because you weren't taught how to stay calm under pressure. It's a skill. And one thing that's very, very powerful, just to start off, is our breathing. You know, our breath actually is the thing that can help to control our emotions. And I'm not sure if you've ever heard of this or what your experiences are. Chances are you probably heard some of these things, but your breathing is tied to emotions. Think about this for a minute. When I am stressed or under pressure, think about how your breathing changes. You're like, your breathing gets more shallow and more strong. Like if you've ever done an ice bath and it's freezing cold water, right? We've done it as cold as 36, 38 degrees water with ice in it, and it's very cold. When you first get in, it's like you're breathing heavy, trying to catch your breath. If you've ever been in an instant stressful situation where maybe you could tell a fight was about to break out between some guys, or you were faced with trauma and an accident, car accident, or some kind of accident or injury, your breathing changes. It is a powerful thing. And yes, I love it. Look at that. I agree with this. This is a powerful thing to do. He says Wim Hof technique in the morning changed everything for him. And it's real. I like that app. It's it's a good app. It's free. And there's some powerful breathing techniques in there to help you master your breathing. It's going to actually help you master your emotions and to be able to stay calm. There's this old thing where they say, count to 10, breathe, and count to 10. It is true. When we start to feel emotions rise up and we start to feel ourselves losing control, where we're about to burst in anger, or burst in rage, or maybe you have and you need to gain control again, you're going to find that it has to do with your breathing. It has to do with, like, if you've ever yelled and got angry, well, that's your breathing. You had to yell in order to yell, you had to have greater breath, stronger breath, right? And it's interesting how everything is really tied to the air we breathe. Even the lack of talking. If you ever had the air knocked out of you, that literally will make it to where you cannot talk because you don't have the air to create the sound going over those vocal cords. So again, there's so many things tied to our breath. There's so many things. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. So, when you have the voice to create or the voice to destroy, it matters. What we say matters. And so self-control is important. Oh, oh, communication. Communication problems that men face. You're feeling misunderstood at times. The arguments that repeat over and over. Again, this isn't all men. Hopefully, some of you that I've worked with and we've worked together for a while, hopefully you have a different perspective. However, the general population, and again, I deal with this at times as well too. It can cycle through. Life is cycles, and we go through and face these challenges. Feeling misunderstood, arguments are repeating, you have these tone issues in your communication, potentially you shut down all the way completely. You feel disrespected. That will create emotional pressure, the type of communication that you're feeling or the misunderstanding that takes place in your communication. You can't say anything right. You ever felt that? Or let's talk about even financial responsibilities and stress that comes from finances. That's another one. These are the top three. Bills, you've got deadlines, you've got to get work done, and kids that you've got, kids that need braces, kids that, need clothes, or school fees and dues, lunch costs, food on the table, paying the utility bills, paying the mortgage, right? These are all things you've got. uh, Stress and daily responsibilities combined. Like, well, I've got to work, but then also I want to spend time with the kids, and I've got chores and things I've got to take care of, pick up the house, run those errands, unexpected problems. It creates a lot of mental pressure. Mental pressure. It's like a pressure cooker ready to explode when you got all these different pressures coming from different directions. So we got communication. We struggle with communication. Then we got all these responsibilities and financial challenges we're facing. And how am I going to get these bills paid? And I'm not making enough at work. Like, the wife is nagging at you as well, saying, hey, why aren't you making enough? Or you don't have the money to take a girl out on a date, right? So then you feel that pressure, all the things you have going on. Or let's talk about even intimacy. It's another of the top three problems and challenges that couples face, and it's feeling unloved, right? So feeling unwanted, drifting apart, not knowing how to reconnect, not knowing what it is that caused us to get out of sync. Where did we drift apart? Where did things go wrong? And you're trying to figure all these things out, and you've got all these pressures in life. And it's interesting because a lot of men, when they feel these pressures and stress in life, they then actually will um, need a release, and that's physically, even through intimacy. And it's interesting how, man, it gets built up with like the stress, the fight comes out, it's fight or flight mode, right? And we get a higher level of hormones too as well, and just response mechanisms and the breathing. But there's lack of affection and desire. Maybe that's even being squashed, or you just are so stressed out about finances, you're not communicating right. Things are always seem to be going wrong. So then what happens? You lose the desire to pursue your wife or pursue women, or it's interesting, in one or the other. They really feel like they can't perform, so then that's even more pressure and intimacy. And so then you feel like a loser, right? And I think that's where it all comes into, it all ties together, is whether you're facing the pressures of not communicating well, you're facing the pressures of not providing enough or having enough finances or cash flow, or you're facing the pressure of lack of intimacy or not being able to do it right in intimacy. It always comes back to, if you think about it, confidence. Your confidence gets shot. Your belief in who you are and what you do, and your personal identity gets shot. And so it is really important that we address these things and create a different mindset around it. And that's where self-control comes in, mastering your emotions, mastering your breathing comes in. And part of that has to do with how I think. What creates what I think? Well, the way I think comes from what's being inputted into my mind. What am I allowing? What am I listening to? Am I listening to things that will cause me to get better or bitter? You know, am I looking for and pursuing solutions or excuses? Come on now, seriously. What is going into your brain? Because what you allow, this is where it's that verse we've been talking about. My theme for 2026 is, God is not giving you the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. And when you go look at the definitions of that, it has to do with God is not bringing life to, the spirit is breath, life, to fear, which is shrinking back, becoming small. No, he wants you to be shining conquerors and step in. But if you're not confident, how can you shine? If you got all these pressures, how can you keep shining? How can you keep feeling like a conqueror when I've got all this stuff I'm dealing with, though? You don't know my life, Carlos. You don't know my life. Like, I get it. I get it that you're facing hard challenges. You got the pressures of life just pressing down on you. Feel like weight on your back, shoulders, and you're just carrying the load all the time. I get it. But he gave us a strategy. He gave us dunamis, and dunamis has to do with your identity and your skill level, because that's literally what it said in the talents, parable of the talents. And we've talked about this, but I'm just reviewing it, putting it all together for you. And gonna keep talking about this stuff because it matters. That's the recipe that God has given us as men. So if dunamis in the talents, it says he gave the money according to their dunamis, according to their abilities, according to their identity, according into their belief of who they are. That's why our process of MVP is really important. Knowing who you are will make you more confident, and communicating who you are will make you communicate better. And then being committed to who you are and staying the course on that, even though when you don't feel like it, that's what brings confidence. Repetition, continuing to look at who you are, what you're becoming. Maybe you're not quite there yet. You're like, yeah, Carlos, I want to do that, but I'm not there yet. Well, first of all, just breathe, man. Breathe, right? This guy here, again, I'll put this comment up because it's a good one and it's real. It's good. Wim Hof has mastered breathing and has helped thousands and probably millions by now to master their breathing as well. And it's a free app by Wim Hof. It's good. Check it out. Again, that's what I'm saying. These little things that we can do will help us tremendously in our life. Like this gentleman said, Wim Hof, he practices breathing techniques every morning. Why? Because when you're doing athletic events, when you're working out, when you're running, you've got to master your breathing. Ken Mullet, dear friend of mine who runs, man, it's a beast. He can run 8 miles just to get warmed up, and then he runs 4 more miles in the snow with freezing weather outside. This guy's woo, woo, woo. And he has to breathe correctly to be able to maintain that, to be able to do certain amount of speed, to do certain amount of miles in a certain time. Like, it's about breathing. When we work out, yesterday I did a workout. Chantel and I go and we work out with a trainer. Boy, I tell you what, it's tough. Some of those workouts, like, we do this move where we have to jump underneath the weight and then stand up, like, and it's like not a power clean, but it's similar, and it's like some of these movements I've never done before, but it's good for the body, good for technique, and you got to master your emotions. Because again, when I first did it, was interesting. Yesterday I did, I think I did 145 or something like that. And the first time I did it, it was like only 95 pounds because I didn't know the technique. I was nervous, but this was my second time doing it. And I increased my weight tremendously just because I got more confident. You follow me? In life, it's always understanding, like, if you are facing these challenges, creating so much pressure and stress that you're blowing your lid all the time, it's because you lack confidence in that area. I get it. You're not alone. It's real. Another comment. We can try to show these comments as we go. Good stuff. Breathing techniques do work, and it's powerful. What do you do to help when you're facing pressure and stress? Well, we know we got to work on our identity, dunamis, and we know we got to have love. What does love look like to you, though? Look, some of you may not have a very good perspective or understanding what love is. And then, how about self-control? To me, if I was to sum up love in one word to help describe what it is, you know what I would choose? Commitment. I really would. And it's crazy because commitment is also a skill that we teach. Confidence, communication, commitment, and they're tied together. So it's like it's hard to be committed and communicate well if you don't have confidence. You follow me? So it is important to have love too, to be committed to as well for the long haul, not quitting. I'm here. I'm going to be here regardless of what happens. Can you make that decision? Can you be strong in that? There's power in that when you can do those things. Okay. All 3 pressures that we talked about: financial, intimacy, and communication. Those are top 3 research things that couples look up when they're facing challenges in life and in their relationships and in their marriage. So all 3 pressures require one thing from a man, and that is, seriously, emotional leadership, mastering those emotions, having self-discipline, self-control. Did you know that's the definition of self-discipline? Having self-control or sound mind is to master your emotions. Part of it, though, is what's creating those emotions is literally the things that you are focused on every day. If you have OPOC, other people's opinions controlling you, it's real. And you might want to turn off the news. You might want to turn off the stuff that is giving you a freaking bad attitude. You may not like politics. Why are you watching it then? You may not like how the government is run. Go do something about it then. Like, seriously. Don't complain. Don't get frustrated by it and plug into it. Oh my God, we're all dying. And like all these things that's going wrong. That's a waste of energy if you're not going to go do something about it. Seriously. The pressures of life, seriously, comes from the things we're plugging into. So as we break down that verse I was telling you about, 2 Timothy 1:7, Papa's not giving us the ability, or he's not empowering shrinking back. He wants to give you dunamis, love, and self-control. Dunamis is a supernatural confidence. It's courage in the middle of the pressure. It really is. And then love is emotional security, leads your home with peace and not with panic, not with the world's coming to an end. How are we going to do all this? Like, again, if you think about it, like you got a wife or nagging at you, or you've got no girlfriend, you got nobody, and you're feeling like a loser or alone, like these things start raising the level of our emotions. So then that's where self-control comes in. So you've got supernatural confidence, dunamis, you've got emotional security with love, and then you've got self-control, which is mastering your emotions. A calm man will win every time. Even in the military, that's how they instruct you, is that when you are facing stress and pressure, you have to be able to master your breathing, stay calm, take a deep breath, and observe the situation. We call it OODA loop, where you have to literally observe and look around and see what's going on, what's the situation. I remember, just share a little story where I was challenged with this situation where I was faced with pressure and stress, an immense amount all at once. It was a traumatic situation. Stand by for the story. I was driving. Chantel and I had been traveling. I don't even remember. We were coming back, I think, from Montana. One of our clients, we were in Montana, and we got off the plane, and it was late. I think it was even like we had a late flight. Got in like 12 or 1 in the morning, something like that. 1 or 2 in the morning. It was pretty late, and so we had flown. We put our car into parked our car at the airport. Got back, got in the car, getting onto the freeway, and just as we're getting onto the freeway, there's a semi and a trailer in front of us, flatbed trailer, with a semi pulling a flatbed trailer in front of us. And all of a sudden, like, it just goes crazy. Like the wheel jerks, and then it goes all one way and then all the way to the side, and then it crashes like literally right in front of us. I have to put on my brakes to avoid hitting it as it's doing all these crazy things, and then bam, wrecks in over on the side. And I am like, oh my gosh. And so I take a deep breath and I pull over, and we're on the freeway. And I pull over because it happened right in front of us, and we're quite a ways away from it. I said, I need you to call 911, tell them what just happened. I'm going to go check on this driver. And I calmly gave Chantel instructions, and I said, but let me go check. You stay here at the truck, safe distance, because we pulled the truck. So I took a deep breath. I had to gather my emotions because of what was happening in front of me, avoid an accident, first of all, or getting involved in that accident. So avoid it. And then I jump out of the truck and I run towards the semi. And as I get there, guess what I notice? As I'm coming up to the truck, there's a fire, a little fire on the back of the truck. And so I go to the passenger side window, and I see Chantel's on the phone truck. She's talking to 911, and there are cars just going by. That was part that was kind of a little bit strange, that here we are and nobody's stopping. There's several cars, even though it's, early or really late at night, early in the morning, there's still cars. It's a freeway, and everyone's driving by. And I am at the passenger side window, and I see the driver of the semi is just slumped over, laying in the truck, and obviously he passed out or something happened. That's why the accident occurred without anything happening really. He just like passed out. Maybe he had a heart attack. I'm not quite sure because actually, as I tell the story, you'll see. But I mean, I'm calm. I observe the fire in the back. Thank God it's diesel fuel. If it was gasoline, it would be highly combustible. Even the fumes would combust. It would be really, really bad. But I still told Chantel as soon as I saw the fire, I saw the driver slumped over. I said, Chantel, stay there. There's a fire here in the truck. Stay where you are. Stay back. Stay at a safe distance. And I'm yelling this at her. And she's like, okay. And she can also describe it to 911. In the meantime, I'm trying to talk to this guy through the door in the truck. And I'm confidently like telling him it's gonna be okay. We're gonna get you out of here. Da da da. And do you know who you are? Do you know where you are? Like, and he's like, oh, he's just moaning. Like it was crazy. But in that moment, I had to be calm. I had to be able to think and process and not panic and freak out, and scream and run around or be like, "Oh my gosh, what just happened?" It's like, no, we have to assess the situation, have to see what's going on and deal with it. And finally, a tow truck pulled over randomly, and the guy jumps out, and Chantel even told the guy, she's like, "There's a fire." And I saw him pull over. I said, "Does he have a fire extinguisher?" And so, sure enough, he did have one, and he came. And thank God, he and I together, he put out the fire with the fire extinguisher. So then we could be a little bit calmer and safe, knowing that there's no open flames. And then we took and busted out the back of the window because the driver still wasn't responding very well. He was kind of waking up and like, where am I? And he was kind of just out of it. And I kept talking to him, letting him know, hey, we're going to help you. We're going to get you out of here. And because our goal was now to get this guy out of this truck, just in case, because of the fire, we didn't want anything to explode. And again, it was really interesting. It seemed like forever for the fire department to get there. I mean, we're in the middle of Atlanta. You would think, wow, it's going to be like 5 minutes, but it did take a while again, and it was late. So we bust out the back window, and together, this tow truck and I, we pull this guy out of the back of the semi truck, and it wasn't an extended cab. It was just like a smaller cab. So it just had a glass back window. Thank God. Because the door was all dented. You can open the doors at all. It was a mess. And so we bust out the back window, pull him out, and then pull him to safety. And right about that time, as we're pulling him out of the truck and getting away from the semi, the fire engine shows up, ambulance shows up, and then, they're now talking to this guy, and the fire department gets the police and fire department get my information, and then it's like, what now? We just go. Like, they didn't need us for anything else. They were going to handle it from there. But why I bring this up is because, again, it was my ability to breathe, ability to calmly assess the situation, keep my wife safe, keep her back, get her on the phone, like kind of do in that moment instead of panicking, staying calm and being able to work on things and work as a team with this other guy to pull this big man, who's a bigger guy, out of there. And then again, it was all for humanity, all to save and bless a man. I don't know the man. I don't know where he went. I don't know if it ever, what effect it had on him, or I don't know what happened ultimately either. It was just able to bless and help, and I had no obligation even to help. I could have kept driving. I saw tons of people do that, and they just kept driving by, hundreds and hundreds of cars. Even Chantel was shocked that nobody was stopping, and finally, this tow truck driver stopped and helped. Maybe they were scared because there was a little bit of fire in the back of the truck. So that's just one situation or a story of things that come and traumatic, and what do you do with those situations, right? How do you deal with it? Well, if you haven't been able to even handle situations of stress in your personal life, chances are you're never going to help someone like that in their life, or try to help save a life, or lend a helping hand in an emergency situation. And then even how you handle it matters, right? We got to have self-control and self-discipline. We have to be able to master our emotions in that moment to prevent us from being hurt, protect our family, protect ourselves. But then, can we actually lend a helping hand? Are you following me? I believe me, it was one of the first times anything like that has happened. I take that back. Now that I'm saying it, it happened one other time to me when I was younger. It was really interesting. And at that point, I'll be honest, I didn't stop. It's interesting. My confidence wasn't there when I was younger, and I wouldn't have known what to do. I was like, and I saw it, same thing. It was like a car that And it was late at night. It's weird how all these things happen late at night in the car. It was a car this time that hit the side of the, and it was kind of in front of me again. I had to put on the brakes to avoid it. And then they went, bam. That time I just was driving. I kept driving. I was like, what do I do? I didn't know what to do. Like, it was interesting. I was so young. I think I was like uh, 20 or something, 19 or 20. And I was like, what do I do? So I hadn't had any training or any understanding of what to do. But it's interesting how my confidence wasn't there. And I just kept driving. I remember looking back and I saw some other cars pulled over to help. And I was like, okay, they'll help. They're helping. So I get it. But it is interesting how it did. Now that I'm thinking back, it does tie back to confidence. So, I don't, again, when you're faced with those situations, you make those decisions in the moment. So, men under pressure, no man typically will make a good decision when he is feeling overwhelmed. And overwhelm and pressure will come not from just, it comes from the little things that we've done. Like I said, when I was younger, I didn't stop to help that person. I was one of the drivers that kept driving. So I get it. But now, I think this was last year. I think this was last year, yeah. 2024 maybe, or at the beginning of this year, maybe it was 20. Yeah, it might have been at the beginning of the year when we were coming back from Montana. I don't remember. But the point is being more confident and the little things I've done in my life to be able to handle pressure, to be able to have self-control, to be able to offer and be able to be confident enough to help someone in need in that way. Not just myself and my family, but others too, perfect strangers. So pressure will trigger anger, shutdown, overthinking, panic, defensiveness, harsh tone, even withdrawal. Are you silent? Treatment. Let me ask you that. If you're here still with me, thanks for being here. I do have a little bit longer I'm doing today because I don't have a 5:30 appointment today like normal. What is your response mechanism when you feel pressure? What is you shut down, or do you become angry and verbal, like maybe even if you're willing to admit, sometimes you, in the past, even maybe it's not now, it's not now, you don't do it anymore, right? But in the past, maybe I was actually a verbal abuser. I would yell back in the day when I would get like lose control and angry. And again, I can feel it rise up in me. And it's is it, or is it the same silent treatment withdrawal? I'd like to see it. How do you become defensive? Um, yeah, little comments here. I'm gonna post some of them here. This guy's not sure who it is, but hey, all the joy and wonder that comes while in love will never be worth the pain and destruction of heartbreak. It's a fact. Sorry for what you went through, my friend. And I'm telling you, I understand what you're saying, but when you have epic, wow, it's amazing. It's worth it, I promise. Sorry for what you've been through, man. All right, Mr. Jesse says the word pressure seems to carry the connotation of timeframes and deadlines. Is that what you're referring to? Well, pressure again has to do with things in life, stress that creates stress in men's lives and couples' lives. The top three searches online have to deal with those three things: lack of skills and communication, looking for a way that how do I communicate better. They're looking at how do I improve my finances. I'm struggling in my financial life and it's causing problems in my marriage. So communication causes problem in relationships, finances cause problem in relationships, and then intimacy, the lack of intimacy or the problems in intimacy causes there to be stress. So that's what I'm referring to. Pressure and stress in relationships that men deal with and men face or couples face. So that's why we're talking about it today. But I am curious, like when you're faced with pressure, men, can you put in the chat? Can you just interact with me a little bit and tell me what it is that your response is? When you are overwhelmed, what do you do? Do you shut down? Do you become defensive? Do you have harsh tone? Do you yell? Do you withdraw? Do you give the silent treatment? You go within yourself and kind of pull away from your relationships? And maybe you're not married, but maybe you see that in yourself in relationships around you, whether it's family or friends. Do you isolate? What do you do? What is your coping mechanism in a sense? How do you respond to high levels of stress and pressure? Maybe you at this point are at a place where you're doing better even. What does that look like? Are you journaling? We talk about Epic 30. That's our process that we, on a consistent basis, keep things flowing. Get in the flow first thing in the morning, you do Epic 30. You release so you can receive, so you can give to others. Well, you can be purposeful with that. It's the little things you do. That's why we have that as a daily process. That's what I'll be doing today with my family. My wife and I, our set time today, actually, I'm sorry, this morning, I'm going to a Bible study, a men's Bible study that I attend. And by the way, if any of those men are watching, love you, brothers. Bless you. Let me know if you've seen some of my videos. I love hearing from you guys, my lives, if you've seen them too as well. But I know that um, at 6:30, we have a little Bible study here at a breakfast place. And I really appreciate my brothers from the Grove here in Social Circle. I've been meeting up with them now for the last few weeks and really getting to know them and enjoying that time together. It's been a blessing. But normally at 6:30 every weekday, it's with my wife, my daughter, who's still living in home. The three of us will get together and do Epic 30 together. A point of connection, communication, love, affection, and being able to speak life over each other. Like this is the thing that happens to be proactive in, again, mastering my emotions, but also creating a new default of how I respond to things. Now I'm working on having a reputation of edification where I'm focusing and working on daily. It only takes 30 minutes. Look, if you don't have 30 minutes to connect with your family, your spouse, your children first thing in the morning, or a relationship that you're working on, a potential girlfriend, then man, I'm telling you, you need to work on your priorities then because it's important. If you don't think relationships and connection to family, friends, or a spouse or potential spouse is worth spending 30 minutes, I will challenge you to redo your priorities. There's a reason why you're miserable. There's a reason why you're single. There's a reason why you're frustrated. It's important to renew your priorities because 30 minutes, no longer the hour of power. I love Tony Robbins. It's now shrinking it down, and we have Epic 30 minutes. Time it takes you to drink a couple cups of coffee. Still on my first cup. You can have connection, love, affection, communication. You can have release, so you can receive, and then you can give to your spouse and your potential spouse, a girlfriend that you're pursuing, a woman, or your children. It's a very powerful process. All right, what we got here? Some of the guys responding now about how you respond to pressure. What are some of the ways that you maybe used to respond? Now, how are you responding? So, context and situation here says, but in general, if it involves my wife and I'm mindful to ask questions, to seek understanding, and necessary, go on a walk. Yes, we've talked about that many times, and I'm glad you bring that up, Jesse. Thank you. Changing your state. That's part of it as well. Like when you feel you're stuck in a thought process, loop. That's why journaling, because you're changing your state by releasing that which is keeping you stuck, being able to write down what you're feeling. And even if you're in an argument with your spouse, you can text, you can write down a text, and you may not even send that text. You may go through it in your notes and your processing in your phone, or writing it is very powerful. Write a note, write a letter to get your thoughts out. Some of you aren't very good at verbally speaking those things. Then write it down in a journal or in a message, a text, and have an agreement with your spouse or someone that you're working on your relationship with that you can give yourselves permission to pause when you feel an argument and conflict coming in, when you feel the pressure and you can't think straight, that you can send her a text message or that you can write it down and then read it to her. But don't just cop out all the time by just sending the message, because you want to start to practice that verbal communication. That's part of developing your skills in confidence, communication, commitment. But I get it. If you need to write it down first and then read it, seriously, to start that muscle of communication, it's beneficial. But first, write it then. Because I get it. Some of you can't just articulate and verbalize it right away. Totally understandable. I've built this skill over, I'm 49 now. My mom said that, man, that I started young, talking. And again, most men are not like that. I get it. I'm not the normal man when it comes to communication. But Jesse, thank you. It's very smart and very good thing when you're feeling that conflict or the stress or the pressure happening, go for a walk. Change your state by going for a walk. And another one I know Jesse does as well, and this could be for a good thing too and beneficial thing, but also I want to challenge you as well. This is a really interesting one that I heard recently, and I'm going to start. I agree with it. I did some research on it. It's true, and it works very well. That is, if you're feeling an argument heating up, can you have an agreement with either that spouse or maybe even a child that you're working on? You feel, teenager that's there's a stress escalating. Can you have an agreement to do this? And it's interesting to hug for 3 minutes. Set a timer. We're going to hug for 3 minutes. We're angry and mad at each other, but we're going to hug. We can't say a word. Just sit there and hug. A nice, gentle hug and breathe. Notice I said breathe. See, it's that breathing again. You're going to hear them breathing. You're not allowed to say anything, not allowed to talk. Just breathe. And what's interesting when you do the scientific research on that, the breathing, before we could communicate well, we were breathing. Like, most incredible thing to hear the heartbeat of a baby even inside the belly through an ultrasound. So like breathing is super powerful. And I'm going to start recommending this because Chantel and I have actually done this at times when things were escalating and feeling frustrated. She will tell me, she'll be like, "Can you just hold me?" It's so crazy. So we've been doing this, and then when I heard that it's an actual strategy, I'm like, yes, we're going to start utilizing it as a strategy and implementing it and being purposeful with it and giving it as one of the things that can help when you're under pressure, when you're feeling the pressure and the stress. Can we just stop, pause? It's escalating. Okay, I can feel this escalating. Can we pause? Can we do that thing? And you hug and hold each other for 3 minutes. Like I said, it can even work with teenagers. It can work with. We have done also another thing is you have to do GWs. We did that with our kids when they were fighting and arguing. We'd stop. Okay, you guys need to do GWs. Otherwise, you're going to lose the privilege. You reap what you sow. So we're going to implement a good thing here. I need you to speak life over your brother, over your sister, whatever it may be in the conflict, and say, 2 things you're grateful for about them and 2 things that they are worthy of. Edify them. 2 things of their dreams or goals that they're worthy of achieving. So that's what we call GWs. So we stop and make them speak life in that moment when they're conflicting, arguing, putting each other down, it's escalating, stop. So you can see how the hug, 3 minutes, just breathe, not allowed to talk, because feel the calmness, energy shifts, but it'll do the same thing with how we're using our voice and how we're using our breathing, because talking is breathing, by speaking life over someone. It's a powerful thing. You like my beard? Thank you. That's funny. Guess what I'm doing? This is funny. This just reminds me like your beard. We work with the Amish. Like 80% of our clients come from the Anabaptist background, Amish or Mennonite. So I made a decision. We're going to start doing some fun stuff. And I am going to do a live video. I thought it was going to be Tuesday of this week, and then my barber got sick. So probably next week we'll do it. But I'm going to actually go live with it, and I'm going to do a live, where he's doing. I'm going to get him some props for how he does it, because I go get a haircut, and man, they do a really good job. They do the facial thing, warm compressed towels, and he trims my beard up and cleans it up, and then I'm actually gonna have him shave my mustache, because that's a thing that the that the Anabaptists do, is I'll have a beard without the mustache. And frankly, I think it was probably somebody like me that I like having a beard, but this thing I try to keep it really short all the time. I'm gonna go ahead and shave it off. Why not? So I'm gonna do that live, shave off my mustache completely, and just have this beard and see how it's gonna be strange. I know, but why not? Stranger things have happened. Being known and getting the reputation now of Amish Matchmaker. Why not? It'll be fun. So somebody's saying I agree. So thanks for saying I agree. I'm not sure what you're agreeing with now, but I love just posting some of this stuff. So again, who is it that, or tell me, share with me how you respond when you're faced with pressure. There's another comment from Jesse. Thank you, Jesse. When I'm faced with making a decision with pressure to say yes, when I want to say no, I slow down, seek clarity on what is going on within and what is the source, whether it's me or other person. Again, I ask more questions. Powerful. Questions for clarity, questions so you can make a decision but not make an excuse. I love it. Just wanting to take action, even on decision making. All right, here we go. Here's one about, let's see, what does this one say? Procrastination. Ooh, that's a good one. It's a killer for me. I do things last minute, even though I'm more than capable of doing it. I'm not feeling challenged. Am I not feeling challenged? Question mark. Okay. So I think what you're saying is that you do procrastinate. You don't feel challenged, so then you just put it off so that you create a challenge. Hey, that's. I'll tell you, there are certain personalities that are we call them the lion type personality that likes the fight, that likes the challenge, and so it's interesting. It sounds like what you're describing is your procrastination is you putting it off so you all can do it last minute because you like the challenge. What I would say is you need to design your life better. You need to put some challenges in there. We call it create urgency before it's an emergency. It's a whole nother topic. I got a training on that. If that's a topic you'd love to hear about, I'd be glad to go over that with you. Again, I want to meet the needs of those men joining me on here, or even the wives. If you tune in and you want to comment, by the way, comment, let me know what is landing, what's beneficial for you, and maybe some topics you want to hear from. But even the wives that watch this, or women that watch this and are like, yeah, I want my future husband, or I want my husband to hear this topic, I'll be glad to share. I'm here every morning, 5 a.m. for you. And I do. I want to bring stuff that's highly beneficial to you. And that's why I did some research to see what the top three pressures are that men face. And it's intimacy, finances, and communication. Again, my question was, how do you respond to situations when you're under pressure? Pressure reveals the man. It really does. Um, I love, the word. Love studying the word. I have a book that my wife and I are working on and writing, and it's his creation code for success. And it's all about how to create anything successfully utilizing the 7 days of creation that's found in Genesis. Why am I bringing this up? Well, pressure reveals the man, the true man inside of you. And it's interesting because in Genesis, maybe you never saw this, maybe you missed it, but there in Genesis, it talks about, and the spirit hovered over the deep, dark cavern. When you do the deep dive in that, you realize that's dark. That's a dark place. And what's interesting, as an example to us, in that time, it was dark, it was gloomy, it was dreary. And it literally says purposefully that the spirit hovered over the waters. Well, what is the one place that you would see your reflection? Specifically, water. You would. And so it's interesting when I read these things and I break them down, and believe me, I have broken this down hundreds and hundreds of times. I've taught it hundreds of times. I've done seminars on it. I've done business events talking about this. That's why we're writing a book on it, because we've dissected it and went through it so many times. The example that's powerful there is, why would you be talking about over the waters? It's a mirror effect, getting to see your identity. And as an example to us, we can know exactly what I'm saying and exactly what we're talking about. When you face the pressures and you face the overwhelm and you're like at the end of your rope, so to speak, Feel like, man, these arguments, these fights, they just keep happening. I just can't take it anymore. That's where your true identity comes out. The true man that you are, the true man that is being built, gets built and developed under pressure, gets built and developed in the pain, in the hurt, in the heartache, in the hard times, not the easy times. Look, if you choose easy, life will be hard. But if you choose to create urgency in the challenges and place those, design your life to have challenges, and create some urgency, life will be easy. Life will be good. So, human, the spirit, God himself hovering over the waters, as an example does, went to a very, very dark place and said, what's my reflection look like? I'm hovering over the waters. What am I facing? So crazy, all the different examples we can find in creation and how powerful it is in the process of development of you, your identity, creating a powerful identity. We have to take a look at ourselves. And it's in the dark times and the hard times that our real self comes out. It's in the dark places when nobody's around, when you're all alone, that the truth comes out about who you are. And it's those activities you're doing. Only you can know, because that's what we're talking about. It's in the dark, dreary places that it comes out. Only you can know what you even do. Like, are you looking at porn? Are you, are you coping by looking at just scrolling, doom scrolling now? Maybe it's not even porn, but it's scrolling through TikToks and reels and shorts, and you're just watching them over and over and over. What's the purpose of that? What's the benefit of it? Oh, I'm just tired. I don't want to do. Yeah, don't you know that they are appealing to you? They know what you like, and they keep feeding it to you and feeding it to you. They're like feeding the beast, feeding the addiction. It's real. And you just keep buying into it. And then next thing you know, it's like 3 a.m. and you haven't even gone to sleep. Like, I've talked to many, many men about this, and even women do it. Like, it's real. Like, this social media stuff, this addiction, this hit of, well, that's a good video. I feel it too. They give me stuff too that I enjoy. I enjoy looking at equipment. I enjoy looking at people doing extraordinary things. So then I get all these sports videos of people doing things well, or training dogs and working with that. Like, I get them in my scroll too. Look, if you want to scroll and watch them, set an alarm, set a timer, so it can snap you out of it, because you get into this boo, boo, boo. And next thing you know, time's gone, hours have gone by, and you're still awake. It's still stimulating, keeping you awake. You're like, I can't sleep. Baloney. You can sleep. Read a book. Put your phone away across the room and read a book. All of a sudden, you're like, I'm bored. I'm falling asleep. Yes, exactly. Look, design your life. You be in control, and stop letting the world control you. You know? All right. When you have, and we're going to finish with this because I got to head over to my Bible study, men's Bible study. But here's the thing: in communication problems, and we'll revisit this stuff. Timing wise, when I'm going to do another video with Chantel, I try to do it around 7:30. So it might happen again today. We'll see. Hopefully. And I'll interview Chantel with some of these things we talked about today, communication problems, the financial problems bringing stress, and then the intimacy thing. But the pressure is in communications because your tone changes, it escalates, right? Feeling disrespected, misunderstood. A calm solution is slow the pace. Take a breath, right? Talked about this. Give a moment so you can respond well. Ask or say, I need a moment. Don't give it the silent treatment. Don't just sit there quiet and say nothing. Say, hey, give me a moment. Let me work through this internally. Let me write some things down. Let me journal a bit. Ask for time. Slow the pace. Don't respond harshly and when you're under pressure. The financial, the daily stuff, you feel behind, not enough, loser because you're not making enough money, feel like you're burning out, you're in survival mode. Again, another calm solution is to break it into little bites, little steps. What is that mountain of bills that you're facing? And what is it, the income? And then you work on a strategy and a solution. We can go over that. Like, I can totally get into that because we have a solution for this, and things that we do, ways that we attack it that has worked for us That's all I can share is what's worked for us, and we've helped others to do the same. What's one thing though? Little bites that I can take on financially and chip away at. Man who focuses on the next step instead of the whole mountain becomes calm. The little things. You got to break it down in little things. In all things in life, it is the micros that will bring the blessing. It's also the micros that will bring the curse. Seriously. So, final thing, intimacy and connection. Just as so you get the final topic here. What creates the pressure is the emotional distance, feeling unwanted, misunderstood, tension is building. Haven't had a release in a while. It's real. Like the calm solution then is soften first. Like you're feeling this urgency and frustration and rejection. I'm here. I love you. Slow down. Invite connection. Touch her. Hug her for 3 minutes. Hold her. Breathe with her. Don't say a word. Create that process. And potentially, if when it's your wife, oh my goodness, it's awesome. It could potentially turn into that sexual connection during that time as well. After the 3 minutes, and you're like, okay, we're good. This is awesome. We love each other. Invites connection. Intensity shuts down. Intimately grows in a calm soil, not rough, rocky, frustrated soil. You want to plant seeds in a calm soil. So, it's lots of other things we can go over. I'm out of time today. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for the interactions, guys. Super grateful. If you are a part of these morning chats with me and these morning lives, I love your feedback. Please give them to me. And once in a while, I'd love to have one of you jump on here and have a conversation with me. Even we can do that. It's fun. But go out there today and practice some of the things. Let's start with breathing. One thing you can do: start with breathing. Okay. Thank you, whoever that is. I'd love for you to tell me who you are. I'm not sure who that is because what shows up is Michiana Picker. So thank you. Have a great day. God bless you guys. We'll see you later today. I'm sure I'll be going live again. Again, would you do me a favor? If you're on YouTube or on Facebook, can you let Facebook know? They give you the option at times. Would you like to see more of these videos? Definitely say yes to that. But on YouTube, if you wouldn't mind, please subscribe. If you're not on my YouTube channel, go to my YouTube channel. It's Amish Matchmakers. We've changed it from Carlos and Chantel to Amish Matchmakers. So it's our reputation. We're going with it, going for it. And it's interesting, right? But go there, like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. So when I go live or we're creating some content or putting some stuff out there, you'll be notified. And you can watch the replay or you can tune in and interact with us. And we just want to bring if you're willing to do that, like, subscribe, and tell others about us. Make others aware of us. We're going to bring the very best content we can and the best solutions for you to have an epic life. I'm Carlos Campos. Epic Your Life is what we want for you. The way you do it is intentional, little things every day. God bless you. And go and breathe today. Take time to breathe. Go look up Wim Hof. He's a master at breathing. And he's helped millions probably by now to breathe well and to take time to breathe. Your watch can help you if you have an iWatch or an Apple Watch, excuse me. You can it'll tell you. I had that's a whole nother story, but learning to breathe, pausing to breathe for even 60 seconds multiple times a day is highly beneficial. And the part of breathing techniques and mastering your breathing is actually holding your breath, sucking in a good breath and holding it, because then your body and your brain absorbs the oxygen. That's the simplicity of it. God bless you. Have a great day. We'll see you later today.